garage.
We can only put in one person in the seat and two on the back at this point, and the parties are getting bigger, baby. We need to take more people around, so we're going to stretch this out. We got this Precedent Stretch Kit, which is going to give us about another 35 inches on here, right? Another row of seats, some more people, some more fun. That's what it's all about. All we got to do is, the most important thing is make the cut in the right place.
Yeah, we've got all the stuff off of it, and what's great about this kit is there's no welding involved. All you have to do is make the cuts and drill the holes in the right places, and everything will go from there. So the first one we need to make is at 5.5 inches off of the center of this bracket right here.
This is mine, so don't go screwing it up.
And this will be for our cut line, and then we've got to mark our holes to drill through.
All right, got it?
Got it, buddy.
Separate this out a little bit. Then we can deburr all this. All right, so the frame's cut and we deburred the edges right there. Now we can pull this apart and slide in our extensions and get an idea of what this is going to look like. This is going to be cool. All right, yeah.
Hold on, let me move this jack stand out of the way.
Yeah, there we go. Ready?
Yep.
Nice. Look at that. That's a lot longer right there, man.
This is like a limo. You could put a hot tub in this thing when it's done.
Okay, well, that's a thought. So the next thing we need to do is get the holes down on the bottom of the frame right here. And the best way to do that, since we drilled those ones in the top and we've got that inner piece right there, now we can just run the bit, and that allows us to locate the bottom there. And so our odds of getting the hole in the right place are much better now than they would be if we just drilled all the way straight through. So there we go. So that's where that needs to be. We come up here and do the same thing. Yeah, there you go. You can do your side.
All right, now I have to do the same thing on my side, and once we're done drilling out these holes, we can go ahead and put that cross member in. Now they gave us new bolts for that, and this thing's going together pretty quickly.
Once we get all the holes drilled through the frame, we come back with a 23/64 bit, and we come along the holes that we drilled on the top side of the frame, and we just do those top parts of the holes right there and make those a little bit bigger. That way the flat side of this wafer-headed bolt will sit in there, and this bolt will mount nice and flat. Hey, welcome back to TruckU. Now today what we're doing is stretching out this golf cart, this award-winning golf cart, if you will. Now the frame's cut, the extensions are put in place, and that's coming along nicely. What we did was we got this Precedent Extension Kit from our buddies up at Club Car. They've got them ready to go, and it's nice and easy. And like we said before, you can do all of this without any welding, so that's good. But you do have to do a little bit of cutting.
Yeah, a little cutting, a little drilling, but the chassis is all done, so that's cool. You can put all your entourage on this thing. I think we didn't a lot for that hot tub just yet. Maybe something down the road.
No, but we are going to have 4 seats going forward. We'll have that bench in the back with 2 seats going that way. So that's 6 people. The entourage is growing every day, and you got to have enough room to take everybody to the party.
I'm with you on that. Now, the next step, yeah, I think that's a good way to go, is to cut the underbody, because what we're going to do is still utilize the whole front part here. It's all molded to still work with our body kit, and the back part as well. And this way we've got all the same mounting locations. It'll just be an extension to fill in the middle. Now, we're going to cut it through the middle here, separating the holes like that. This way all our mounting locations will still work.
There you go. All right. Front piece is where it needs to be. Nice job on the cut.
I appreciate that.
You did good. I don't throw the compliments around much, so relish in it when you get it, right? So what we did was reused a lot of the hardware, the self-tapping screws that we took out when we ripped it all apart. Those went back in. Those come in handy because they've actually got to drill into that extrusion piece that is now inside that frame, right? Next up is the pedal assembly. This is pretty cool. Look at that view. You get to see that every day?
Nice.
No, you don't. That's good stuff right there. All right, so this will stick right there. All right, so that'll plug in on the go side, and then you're working on that extension.
So what we need to do now is make up for our extension with our brake pedal assembly. Now they'll tell you to use a penny for width of what the spacing should be, so that's where about there, and then you run down this jam nut and lock it down with the other side. That way you'll have the right pull on those brake pedal assembly.
Now we can start installing these aluminum floor pieces, and you'll see this piece here actually slides down in between the frame rails, and these pieces on the outside are held in. It's all tied together with the same bolts. So we got the bolts going in through the frame rails but not sticking out. Then that way we can put it down and slide it right into the hole. All you got to do is get everything lined up. There we go.
While he's messing with that, I'm going to go ahead and drop in our rear bucket here for the back of the
You got it?
cart. Yep. Now this will just mount in place right where it was before. You'll use the same bolts. That's not a big deal. Once we get this thing secured down, we're going to start making all our wiring connections. Then the batteries go back inside of here. Looks a bit like a mess, but it should go together pretty quickly once we get the batteries in.
And again, self-tapping screws are reused right here because those are going into the frame rail and they're actually going into that extrusion. So that'll be nice. This is looking nice.
Well, as you can see, we had to go ahead and extend our wiring to compensate for our overall extension on this golf cart as we had to on just about everything else. But the floor's in place now, and we've got our dash in place, and this thing's really starting to come together.
Hey, let's get that lined up, all right, onto those holes for the seat that's coming on in a minute. That's pretty good right now. Now we could take a look down here on the side, and we'll take a look. Here, I put that in, but here's the original piece as it was on the stock golf cart. That little trim piece went on, and that was the end of it, right? Because the bench was right here. Well, we made a cut right there, so this trim piece will go on to the front. This piece will go on to the back, and then this comes in the kit, and that will button it all up. So that'll hook down there on the bottom. And once we tighten that all up, you can see kind of the finished look that we've got on the side. It looks great. So we'll button that up here in just a second. In the meantime, this is the new bench. You know, the front seat became now the back seat, and this is the new one going in.
Yeah, we've got our bench support right here. The only problem with this whole kit is the fact that they didn't give you a seat.
Well,
that's an option that you might want to opt for.
Yeah, you might want to opt for the seat because this could be a tad invasive if you were to sit on this. But, you know, in the aftermarket world, there's a million different seats that you can get, so you can get whatever you want to fit your personality. So now when you're putting this whole system together, you're going to notice there's a lot of hardware and a lot of bolts. And each one of those bolts has its own individual torque spec. Very important that you follow that. You can find that information in the instructions. And that brings us to another important piece, the beverage holder. And this right here.
Did you say torque spec for the beverage holder?
Absolutely. There's torque. It's a very important part.
You just made that up.
No, I did not, because these down here need to be torqued to 9 foot-pounds, and these right here, where it mounts on the rack, need to be torqued to 5. Do you think I would make that up?
No, never.
Absolutely not, because this is a very important part. You know, you don't want to lose or spill a beverage when you're driving around and doing whatever it is that we might be doing in this when we're done. Welcome back to TruckU, and we're finally putting the skins back on here, and we can really see the light at the end of the tunnel. Look at this. I'm bringing the lightning back, baby.
This has got to go, man.
That's what won it before.
You listen, you're making big strides. You got rid of the hair. You got rid of the car. You got to let the 80s metal and this lightning stuff go, man. Just let it go.
No. Come on.
Wait for it.
That was a heck of a throw, dude.
I've been working out.
Man.
Check this out. Mark hooked us up.
Look at that.
Hand-painted.
Okay.
No wraps.
All right.
A little, well, pow.
That does look very good. That does look good.
That's much better.
All right, very cool. That looks great on the front. Here's another thing. This is my award-winning cage right here. This is
the one Rob built for you.
Allegedly. This is what sealed the deal, but we got a little issue. This is a little short, although the people up in the front are very safe.
Yeah,
right?
it's a slim fit, but you know, if you're working out, you can make it work.
That's funny. Now all we got to do is figure out somewhere between here and here to make the cut, and then we can extend this out as well.
Yeah, we've got all the aluminum tubing. I say the closer we go to the front, the better off we're going to be. I think it'll be pretty cool. I mean, this thing's going to look awesome with that monster cage on it.
It's going to look huge is what it's going to look.